Jane, Dylan, and Melissa should hopefully be joining us to go over their regional events that will be coming up sooner than you know it. And so we'll have some breakout rooms for those once Dave has covered everything for the state competition wise. So while Dave's talking, I'll be adding you all to breakout rooms. So then after you can join those with your regional directors and they'll kind of go over your region's schedule and competitions. And then after that, whenever they wrap up, you're free to go. A few things I wanted to touch on before we get started is just a few reminders from the state office. If you haven't already submitted your budget for the next year to Guido, just remember to do that, as well as Big Red Raffle tickets being due. So get those sent in or turned into the state office. That drawing will be November 3rd. So get those in. I believe this week, by the end of this week, is when those are due. And then I think that might be it for me on reminders. Does anybody have any questions about that before we get started on the competition calendars? No? All right. Well, then I will turn it over to Dave to go over the 2024 calendar.
Thanks, Taylor. All right. Couple things here first before I get to that. If anyone was interested in doing NERSA flag football at UNL, those registrations are due this Wednesday, the 25th, and they go right to UNL. Keith Howard, I believe, is who they go to, and his email address would have been on the email that went out a week or two ago about that. If you're doing powerlifting, that registration is still open for us. We're going to have the event December 9th here in Omaha, like we had last year, Big Iron Gym. So we're going to try and hopefully have just one day of it. But if we have a lot more lifters than we had last year, we might have to do 2 days. We just won't know until registration comes in. We send out some information trying to get feelers from people, but we don't know how many are actually signing up for this. So that's still up in the air, but right now it's definitely going to be that Saturday the 9th, and then if we have to do a second day, it would most likely be Sunday. But don't quote me on that just yet till we get all those registrations in. Okay, a couple things. So on the registration calendar, I'm just going to go over the state events because most likely you will go over your regional events with your regional directors when you do your breakouts, and they can explain the venues they're using and what their dates are if they have them booked already. So a couple things. The spring games will be April 5th through the 7th. And we're going to be at the normal places we've been at, which is Lincoln North Star, Lincoln Northeast, and then our bowling alleys will be Sun Valley and Hollywood Lanes again, just like we've had before. As far as your regional competitions before that, bowling, like I said, I'll let the regional directors go over that. And any basketball regional event is not considered a qualifier. So if for some reason you are in a division of 4 and you finish 4th, you will still come to state. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just kind of a warm up for state. When we go into summer games, those dates are May 15th through the 19th. And again, we will be at the normal places, the Kiewit Fitness Center, the Cahoy's Gym. I'm still in the process of booking track, but it's probably going to be at Northwest again. We'll do the Croc Center for level A swimming and Common Grounds for our traditional swimming. Again, just with school starting, some of those venues they take a little while to get back to me once I put in the request to use their facilities. So when we get the fall games last year, or I guess this year, we split between Omaha and Lincoln. I know that's difficult on some coaches, but as of right now, we're looking at August 2nd through the 4th. And we really like the softball complex we were at this year. If anyone played softball, it was really great. We did take some notes to try and make it even better with some things and work out some kinks. The difficulty we have is bocce, trying to get that to an indoor venue. I know it was really hot when we had bocce. very uncomfortable. Same venue we just had flag football and soccer, and it was extremely comfortable inside this year. So, I mean, what a difference just a couple weeks makes here in Omaha. So we just have trouble booking that bocce venue in Lincoln. So most likely we'll be out here again. I did talk to Papillion Landing about getting fans, and I talked to a rental agency about getting those giant, 4-foot big fans, and they said we can open up all 4 doors, put a fan in each corner to try and get some airflow going. So we might be out here again. Of course, we're always looking for venues. The difficulty is if we have it outside and we have rain or extreme heat anyway, we're in the same boat, and we just take the money we use to pay for an indoor venue, and we pay for a bunch of tents, and we still have, to deal with the rain and stuff. So got about 10 months to figure that out, which is what I will do, and I will let you know as soon as possible when I do know that. Top Golf is something we started this year. We had it in September. We had a couple delegations do it. Unfortunately, the only Top Golf venue is in Omaha, and there's really nothing we can do about that. So I know it kind of excludes some of our delegations. I'm sorry about that. We're looking at having it in September again, but that venue will not let me book anything until after January. That's when they kind of start their new schedule. So as some of our regional coordinators know, it's kind of difficult to book stuff in advance when you want to, because some of these venues won't give it to you until a certain number of months out. So still working on that. And then Unified Bowling that we just had is set for next year, and that's going to be October 5th. And that'll be all 3 venues again. That'll be Sun Valley in Lincoln, Maplewood in Omaha, and Big Apple out in Kearney. I don't know how many squads we're going to have. I was very shocked by the jump in number of people that we had this year. So just depending on how many sign up is how many squads we're going to have. And then when we look at flag football and soccer, which we just had last weekend at Papillion Landing, we'll look at doing that again. We're waiting for the Huskers football schedule to come out, and we would like to schedule that on the bye week. So whatever that looks like is when we will update the calendar on that part. It just seems to work best for everybody involved. So that's what we're shooting for. All right. As far as anything else, does anybody have any questions for me about the competition calendar? Anybody but Donna? I'm shocked.
Dave,
Yes.
I got on late, so
Yep.
you'll send that out, right?
Yep. So it should be
Okay.
updated as of this afternoon on the portal. We just did all our final updates that we had with Dylan and Taylor and anyone else that had any last minute ones, just to get the most current one up. So it should be on our website right now, Lynn.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Taylor, does that sound like my part is done?
Yeah, I think you've done your part, so you're good to go. Before we go to our breakouts, I just had a few questions. I see a Heather on the call. I'm not sure which Heather that is, to assign them to a region. If you could let me know what team you're with, and I'll get you assigned. And then it does not look like Melissa ever joined. The only person from the West region that's on the call is Gloria. So, Gloria, if you wanted to hop off, I don't know where Melissa is. I haven't heard from her. But hopefully, I'll just have her send out an email to her region with any of the changes.
Okay, I do have a question though.
Yes.
It pertains to the date that we need to have our bowling scores turned in, which it was supposed to be like the 29th of this month, but we've only had 3 weeks of bowling by that time. for the teens bowling, and our competition isn't until the first week in December. So is there a way to push that back? And also we can get our 15 games in.
Yeah, I'll talk to Melissa. That should be fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make a note right here. And I know, so I'll speak about a little bit, that I did move everything up next year a week to try and get the information back out to the teams, because I was getting it so late that I wasn't able to get schedules out to teams who need to know for transportation, if they need food, people need time off of work. So I bumped the time up 1 week. So I'm sending out the information a week earlier to you guys, and then hopefully getting it back from you a week earlier, just to go through all of it. And especially with the growth that we've had, we have to go through so much now that it really takes almost that full week to just get stuff sorted and figured out before I can even make a schedule. Because that's the most important thing for you guys. You don't care about the GMS stuff for you. You just need to know what time you play, what field, and when you get there. And so I'm trying to get all that sifted through the computer so I can actually start to generate a schedule to get that back out to you in time. And I kind of did that here at the end with soccer and flag football. And I felt like I was able to get it out with enough time finally for you guys to plan your transportation, to know how many meals you need, things like that. Because that's always the thing is I need meals numbers, because the caterers want to know, but I'm like, I can't give the caterers numbers until I give you a schedule, so you can tell me if you're going to be there around lunchtime to need them. So it's kind of this big trickle down effect. So I just kind of moved it up a week for everything to try and see if that helps everyone else. And I know it puts a little more pressure on you guys to get those scores in, and I do get emails about that. And usually you pretty much know your bowlers. It's not like your bowler's going to go from 100 to 150 or something like that. So I feel like the scores in the divisioning have still been pretty close to being correct. But continue to send those emails if you are having trouble meeting that date. Because I said sometimes I'm still just sifting through divisioning anyway, and if an email comes in a day or two late that I know it's coming in, I keep a spot open for them, just knowing they're coming. So keep those lines of communication open when that does happen. The other thing I've been doing is, if for some reason you have participated in that sport in the past, I can just look and see, oh, it looks like, Scotts Bluff hasn't sent in a registration. That's kind of unusual. And then I hate to bother you guys during the daytime, but I usually email, text, call, just to get a confirmation of, no, we're not doing it this year, or yep, we must have spaced it. We thought we sent it. So I try and do a follow-up with myself or any staff to reach back out, just to make sure we've at least talked to or got a confirmation from every HOD or coach that has participated in that sport in the past while I'm making that schedule. Because the worst thing that happens is when I don't hear back from somebody, I make the schedule, I send it out, and then I have to change that. And then everyone's looking at me like, well, I thought we were playing at this time. I got to move people around. So I hate to do that, because I know you guys have to then talk to your parents, talk to schools, talk to, work. So it's just like I said, it's a big trickle down effect. So that's why I moved everything up a week. But Gloria, if you need a little extra time, I will talk to the West and let them know, and we'll just work it out.
Okay, and I appreciate that, Dave, but I think what I am talking about this particular time is the West region that we're just having here in Sydney on December the 3rd, I think. But the date that was sent out was that we needed our scores turned in to the state by the 29th of October.
Oh.
And
I'll look into that. Maybe it could have been a misprint on my part. I just didn't even notice it.
okay.
I'll look into it. Yep.
Because I'm like, that's only 3 weeks of bowling after we came back from Kearney. So we would have to be making up some scores for individuals if that was the true date that we needed our scores turned in.
Yep. Like I said, I'll look into that and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any more questions for Dave before he takes off and before you guys move to your breakouts? Nope. Okay. I will get those started for you. And
I did have a question for Dave.
Go ahead, Arby.
the powerlifting registrations
Yeah.
you said were due already?
No,
I
they're
just-
not, no, they're not due yet. It's still open.
Okay.
Yeah, you have some time. You probably have, and I have next year's calendar in front of me, not this year, but I'm guessing you probably have about 3 more weeks, something like that, 2 or 3 more
Okay,
weeks.
that's what I thought because I hadn't seen anything. I guess I'm just misunderstood.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay, thank you.
Dave, do you know if we're going to be doing judo? Like I saw that the international one has added that as a sport. Is that something Nebraska is going to add?
Not at this time. We are not looking to add judo. The only thing we are looking to add right now is cornhole. And I'm currently working with the American Cornhole Association on that. I've actually met with some people locally here who run some small tournaments. So I'm looking for just some direction in that. I know that I met with Special Olympics Indiana a couple months ago, and we started writing the rules for cornhole, and they just had 568 cornhole teams play last weekend. So that's huge. They're having to rent, 30, 40, 50 boards at a time, trying to find a place to put them, how long competition's going. So I just need to be ready when this does happen for us, that we are fully committed and hit the ground running, because when we sent out the interest form a couple months ago, there were 200 people got back to us that they're interested. So it would be pretty big right away, and I'd have to figure out where and when we could have this. Does it need to be a standalone? Can we fit it to summer games like I'd like to? Does it make sense? Could we put it as a part of a winter sport, and go play indoors and give you guys something to do indoors? But then you have to find practice time and practice places in the winter time. So these are all things that we're kind of, kicking around and trying to figure out. And then I presented Cornhole to Special Olympics North America last week for them to vote on it, to whether or not it would become an official Special Olympics sport. And I don't have a time frame when they are going to vote on that and get back to us. So a lot of stuff up in the air in that, but that's about the only sport we're looking to add is cornhole, but not judo.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to tell me also how many teams do floor hockey?
Well, let's see, it would be Marla. You have what, probably 2 or 3 sometimes. West Point sometimes has a team. They've had 6. And then Papillion La Vista is about the other one. They have 1 team, I believe.
Okay, so nobody out like central western area has one.
No, and it's really hit. We haven't even had it the last couple of years. To Marla's dismay and her team, who want to play it all the time, I understand. But yeah, it's a dying sport, which is why we're trying to fill other things in the winter to kind of fill that gap and give us something to do at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Taylor, I think you have a hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's our understanding at Papillion La Vista that floor hockey is no more. We've been giving away all of our equipment.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're going, because really it was just we wouldn't even have equitable competition between the 2 South cities, and then and like I said, West Point had a team for a while, and they got down to where they weren't having enough players. And when I reached out to the other states that used to come, Kansas and Missouri, they have gotten rid of it also. So it was really just South Sioux having to drive down to play themselves, and then us, having to find someone for Papillion to play. So yeah, we've gone away from it. We don't see it coming back in the future right now. So yeah, floor hockey is pretty much no more, unfortunately. But we can fill that void with something else we're trying.
All right. No more questions. Jane